Hey horror fans, welcome back to Room 237, coming at you with another review. Now, some time ago, I said that for the month of August, I wanted to review all the Chainsaw Massacre films, because I think they all take place in August, or at least the first one does. I've already reviewed the first one. I love it, absolutely love it. It's my second favorite movie of all time. Saw it very young, loved it, and pun intended, I loved it to pieces. Love it to pieces. Fantastic movie. So now I'm going to do its sequel, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And yeah, I don't really like this cover. I like the original cover, which, you can look it up. It's a parody of the Breakfast Club cover. This came out in 1986, and I have sort of a weird a relationship with this movie, because I've always loved the original so much that the first time I saw this, I hated it. I really did. I hated it for a long time. And then I sort of forgot about it, watched it again. I was like, it's not as bad. I think I watched it one other time, and I was like, oh, I actually dig this. And I just got done rewatching it, and I do enjoy this movie. Two totally different movies. Because, of course, when Tobe Hooper directed the original, it was released in '74, that was a raw, visceral, horrific movie. And I think, by '86, it was time of sequels. Friday the 13th, Elm Street, Halloween 4 hadn't come out yet, but a lot of sequels were coming out, and someone decided that, hey, let's see what the Sawyers are doing, and Tobe Hooper actually came back to direct this one. Now, Tobe Hooper knew he couldn't top the first one. He knew he couldn't make a movie as scary as the first one. So what he did was he made a dark comedy. He made a black comedy. Which I knew that the first time I saw it. I just didn't like the humor. But, I always thought that was the best way to go. If you can't top it, do something different with it. And this is one of those mid-'80s horror comedies that's way over the top. Like Reanimator, Return of the Living Dead, Evil Dead 2, which is in my top 5 favorite movies ever. I don't like this one as much, but it's still a fun movie. I have my problems with it. Basically, even with the opening credit crawl, it seems like it's reading way too fast. Pretty much says, after Sally was rescued in the first film, she slipped into catatonia, and police were never able to find the farmhouse, and for the next 13 years, people have gone missing with bizarre, grisly, chainsaw-related occurrences. Now, one thing people love about this movie, even as top billing, is Dennis Hopper. Now, Dennis Hopper, great actor, always great at playing villains. He's a good guy in this movie. Plays a sheriff, I think he is, named Lefty. He's the uncle of Sally and Franklin from the first film. And he's hamming it up bad, but it's fun to watch, and he's having fun making it. Basically, the story is, it opens up with two of some of the most annoying 80s horror movie characters. Because there was a great number of movies in the 80s, horror films, where there were characters that are supposed to be obnoxious. Like, they have this really high-pitched laugh. Like the two heavier set guys on Day of the Dead, they're like that. These guys riding around, shooting signs. They call into this radio station where Caroline Williams, I think this was her first movie, she's become a big genre favorite. she's the DJ, and through the call, because they have a car phone, you know, they're being chased by a truck where Leatherface is in the bed and chainsawing them. And she gets it on tape. She contacts him so they can, you know, because Dennis Hopper's vengeful to find this chainsaw family. So they're kind of trying to help each other. And, you know, I don't mind the humor, but things still grate on my nerves. Like, of course, Gunnar Hansen did not come back to play Leatherface for this one. Instead, they got Bill Johnson. And he plays like a goofball Leatherface. Whenever he has his chainsaw, he always does like this little dance that's always really silly. And he does like a lot of that. And so she plays the tape over the radio at Lefty's request. And that causes Leatherface with his brother Chop Top, played by Bill Moseley, another big genre favorite, in his first film. Now, supposedly Chop Top is the twin brother of the hitchhiker in the first film, who gets a name, and this one his name's Nubbins. So Chop Top, he's like this albino guy, rotten teeth, he's got a metal plate in his head, and he has a thing for heating up a coat hanger and scratching his head, and he eats the scabs. And he's like the wild, crazy one. But he's the only part that annoys me is when he's just like, Bubba's got a girlfriend, Bubba's got it. That's the only annoying part. Watching Bill Moseley ham it up is pretty entertaining. And the cook now has a name, Drayton. He's been a long-time winner of like these chili carnivals, these chili fests, where he's serving human meat to people. And Jim Sideow returned to play the cook. He's also way over the top. Everyone in this movie is way over the top. Like, I'm guessing it's Jerry Lambert is the guy that plays LG. He's sort of like this stereotypical Texan that works with Caroline Williams at the radio station. He's always spitting. So even to the point where when he's getting his head bashed in with a hammer, he still spits. When he gets his face removed and he's stumbling around, he spits. Which that is one thing I can give this movie, is the first one didn't have any gore, didn't have any blood. But it was such a horrific, well-made, raw movie that, you know, sort of Mandela effect. People think they saw gore. This one has a ton of gore, and it helps complement the comedy. You know, like the first kill we see, the two kids in the car, a guy gets his fucking head slashed like that, and he's like driving, going like this, and his head slides off, blood goes everywhere. That LG guy is like skinned, and it looks awesome. And the effects are done by Tom Savini, so, I mean, that's always a fucking plus. But, yeah, this has gone on to become like a cult film. A lot of fans love it. It was really hard for me to get into just because I didn't appreciate the humor. I loved the setting of the farmhouse in the original. Here, it's like a rundown, Alamo-themed amusement park that they're inside. Which, I mean, the production looks good. I just didn't really like the setting. Here, like this last time watching it, I kind of went with it. There are some scenes, because, like, in their amusement park lair, there's a lot of, like, purple lights. It looks really cool. When Leatherface and Chop Top attack Caroline Williams at the radio station, there's red lights and green lights all over the place. It has sort of kind of gives it, like, an Argento type feel. which is probably the biggest compliment I can give this movie. But, of course, the whole third act is almost like a goofy version of the first one, because you have her knocked out, wakes up at a dinner table. They try to get Grandpa to hammer her in the head, but he keeps dropping it because he's old as fuck. They say he's 137 in this. She escapes to outside daylight. Chop Top is chasing her, who's the twin brother of the hitchhiker. He slashes her back quite a bit, and then he dies. And it ends with her, because she gets a chainsaw from Grandma's corpse. And it ends with her swinging the chainsaw around and doing the Leatherface dance. And there's one awkward scene where, because it's supposed to be that Leatherface is like in love with her. And there's a part where, because she's wearing short shorts, and she's sitting on like this wheelbarrow of ice and soda at the radio station. And she's trying to talk to him, and he keeps like touching her leg with the chainsaw blade. And he just starts like going like this, and you think he's like dry humping her with the chainsaw. And I guess he climaxes. So yeah, mostly it's Dennis Hopper trying to find this chainsaw family, Caroline Williams trying to help him, and then once they get to the lair, it's just him trying to get to them and her trying to get out. I mean, by the third act, Dennis Hopper is just out of it. He keeps running around with the chainsaws, because he has two little chainsaws and a big one. He's like, bring it all down. He's chainsawing beams, giving out like scripture quotes. But I mean, I could say I do enjoy this movie. I like it as a horror comedy. And especially when you compare it to the other Chainsaw films, which are just awful. And I haven't seen in a while, so I got to gear up for that. I mean, yeah, it's goofy, it's silly. It's a complete reverse 180 of what the first one was. But it's a movie that grew on me. I still don't like it as much as other fans do, because this is a big cult favorite in horror films. But I can say I've gotten to the point where I can say I like Chainsaw 2. It is a fun movie. It is entertaining. I used to hate it. But yeah, so that is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, the last one to be involved with Tobe Hooper. And the last one to really follow any kind of continuity, because between here and the remake is a fucking mess. But I'll get to that. So yeah, the horror comedy cult classic Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I can actually say I like it now, so thanks for watching.